What's up, guys? Scotty2Hockey here, aka the average hockey fan, and a big topic in Habs land is who Montreal could target through free agency to pick up a defenseman. And there are a few decent names out there. There's one big fish out there for sure. Erik Karlsson is a free agent at the end of the year. There's names like Jake Gardiner, Anton Strahlman, the list goes on, Tyler Myers. There's a few good names out there. And a few subscribers have asked me, actually somebody asked me today on one of my videos, who I think that Montreal should pick up as a free agent defenseman. I went through the list. Not all these guys I'm 100% sure the Habs would go after. As far as fits, I think a few of them are good fits. But the pickings were slim for who Montreal could go after realistically. Because I was looking at a lot of the names. A lot of the players that are available this year are younger players. You're not sure what you're going to get from them. And then the top-notch defensemen are going to want a pile of money. And as far as the middle of the pack, most of the good available defensemen in the middle of the pack are right shots and don't seem to be a good fit for Montreal. But there were a few good fits out there I see that could possibly come into Montreal. Two guys who I think could play on the top four. Another guy could possibly play top line. And a guy I think would be a good third pairing pickup that I think Marc Bergevin would like. The type of player I think Marc Bergevin likes personally. The first guy, a lot of Habs fans will possibly disagree with this. I'm not saying I want Montreal to go after him. I'm saying I think Montreal could go after this guy in free agency. Marc Bergevin could think this could be a good fit for the team. And I've heard some subscribers say it. I know Johnny Golden, a subscriber of mine, really likes this. And that's Jake Gardiner. He thinks that Jake Gardiner should come to Montreal. Me personally, I'm on the fence about it. Because Jake Gardiner, he's not as bad defensively as people make him out to be. But he's such a live by the sword, die by the sword player. He takes big risks and he makes costly turnovers. And he showed in the playoffs last year that in big games, he really doesn't show up. He had the worst game of his career in the biggest game of his life. And we'll see this year in Game 7 if he shows up or not. But as for Jake Gardiner, there are a lot of knocks on him. But the offensive ability he has, the skating he has, he brings a lot of upside too. He's going to want a fair bit of money, but I think the Habs had the cap to pick him up. And if they did pick him up, he's the type of guy I think that they would get long term. He isn't, not like an 8 or not like a 7-year contract, but maybe 5 years, something like that. I don't think it would be a 3-year deal if they got Jake Gardiner. But as for Jake Gardiner, he's only 28 years old, so even if you did give him on a 7-year deal, he'd be 35 by the time it's done. He's 6'2", 203 pounds, so for a bigger guy, he has good skating ability for sure. He's a left shot, so he fits in on the top four with Petrie. He'd be a good partner for Petrie, maybe even Weber, although I like Mete with Weber myself, but he can't seem to score a goal. His cap hit is $4.05 million, but that's expected to go up to about $5.5–6 million, possibly even more in free agency. He is going to be a coveted free agent because he has the possibility of putting up 50-plus points. He's done it in his career before, and he's a left shot, like I said. And this year, in 2018, 2019, in 62 games played, because he had a few injuries, he had 3 goals, 27 assists, 30 points, plus 19. He only had 0 power play goals, 5 power play assists, 5 power play points. So he doesn't look like a guy who's going to help you on the power play a lot when you look at it that way. But he actually is really decent on the power play. When he's healthy and when he's effective, like he was last year. And last year in 2017, 2018, in 82 games played, 5 goals, 47 assists, 52 points. He had a +9. He had 0 power play goals, but he had 14 power play assists. So he had 14 power play points last year in 82 games. And on the Habs this year, that would have been like top 5. So for your abysmal power play, he helps. He brings two-way play. He can skate good. His defense could use a bit of work, but all around he isn't that defensively bad. It's just the costly turnovers he makes, the stretch passes, and dumb decisions. If there's one knock I definitely have on Jake Gardiner, he isn't a good decision maker. But a positive coach and a good reinforcing coach like Luke Richardson could help him with that in Montreal. As for Jake Gardiner, I had written down, he's a very fast skater, is excellent at joining the rush, and despite criticism, can quarterback a power play, and is overall a defensive defender. But his high-risk style causes for some bad and costly turnovers. Those were the notes I had written on Jake Gardiner. Now, the next guy I'd like to see the Habs go after, this guy I would actually like to see Montreal go after. If we signed him, I would be very happy. He's a vet. Alex Edler, age 33, height 6'3", weight 212 pounds. He's a big body. He shoots left. His cap hit is $4.5 million. He would fit in perfectly in our top 4. He's defensively sound. He's a big body. He skates well for a big guy, and he's good on the power play. And this year, in 2018, 2019, on an abysmal Canucks team, yes, a lot of players had good years, like Pedersen and obviously Edler, and there were a couple other guys that had a decent year. But overall, the Canucks' record sucked, and their team wasn't what they wanted it to be this year. They wanted them to at least contend for a playoff spot, which By the time the last 20 games came, they were pretty much out. But as for Alex Edler, in 2018, 2019, in 56 games played, he had 10 goals, so he's a double-digit goal scorer for a defenseman, 24 assists, 34 points, +3, 127 hits, so he lays the body down when he has to. He had 0 power play goals, but 13 power play assists, so 13 power play points. So he's effective on the power play, and even though he had 0 power play goals, he does got a good shot. And as for Alex Edler, written down for him, he's an excellent physical defenseman who is very fundamentally sound. He can play on the power play, skates well for his size, and is very composed and an effective passer and has a bomb of a shot. The next guy I had written down, I don't know if he would be a project because he is a proven NHL player. He is good, but he can be injury prone, and he's underappreciated in Winnipeg because a lot of other defenders around him thrived, and a lot more was expected for him. But when he is healthy, when he is on the ice and you actually watch him play, he's a good young defenseman, and I think in Montreal he would be a decent fit. He's a big body. He has a long stick. He can get into problem areas of the net. He's aggressive in the defensive zone. He's defensively sound and brings offense and helps on the power play for sure. This would probably be the most effective of all the guys on the power play. And that's Tyler Myers from Winnipeg. He's 29 years old. He's 6'8". His weight is 229 pounds, so he's by far the biggest guy on this list. He's a tank. Even though he's tall and kind of lanky for his size, he's a big boy. He's a tank. His cap hit is 5.5 mil, but I don't think it would be that expensive. I think his value is probably going to go down a little bit because he is injury prone. There is that knock on him. You're not 100% sure what you're going to get with Mars, but when he's on his game, he's really good. And this year in 2018-2019, in 80 games played, he had 9 goals, 22 assists, 31 points, a +11. He had 0 power play goals, but 7 power play assists, and he had 97 hits. But the previous year to that, he was way more effective on the power play, because the previous year to that, in 2017-2018, in 82 games played, he had 6 goals, 30 assists, 36 points. He was a +5, and he had 3 power play goals, 14 power play assists, 17 power play points. So he had 36 points in total, but 17 of his points, including 3 goals, were power play points. So he is effective on the power play, and I really like how he has the long stick. He's kind of like Zdeno Chara. He can really frustrate players when you think he can't get to you. All of a sudden, his stick is on the puck, and he's got it. He's gone retrieving it. So I like that about his game. And as written down for him, I had a very big, long, and lanky D-man who is very aggressive in the D zone, but is a good skater who brings offensive ability and a big shot on the power play. He is underrated and underappreciated in Winnipeg due to injury issues, and had a few bad slumps, but could thrive in Montreal, especially with a positive thinking minded coach, defensive coach like Luke Richardson. And the last guy, I don't think he would be a top 4 defenseman. I think he would slide into our third pairing, but I think you could get him for cheap because he's at the back end of his career. And he would probably like to come to somewhere like Montreal, and he's a feared hitter, and he brings good defense, and he's just an all-around good player, and he's a good veteran presence, and he's a guy I'd like to see the Habs have, and I guarantee you he would help the younger defensive players and just the younger players in general. He's a good mentor, he's a good leader, and I like his game personally myself, and that's Niklas Kronwall. He's 38 years old, so it wouldn't be a long-term contract by no means. It would be like a 1-year, 3-year deal. I don't even think it would be 3 years. He's 6 foot tall, 194 pounds, but don't let that fool you because he hits like he's 300 pounds. His cap hit is 4.75 mil, but realistically he only makes 1.75 mil this year because of the way his contract works out. It's one of those older contracts like where you get to the end of your contract, the end of your career, you get paid less, even though you're still a pretty decent cap hit. And in 2018-2019, for a guy who's considered an old man, he's also a left shot, he's pretty effective. 79 games played, 3 goals, 24 assists, 27 points, a -5 with 84 hits, 1 power play goal, 7 power play assists, and 8 power play points, and he still got it. For him, I had written up, I do like Kronwall. I got to say about Kronwall, I'm not a huge Detroit fan, but I love Niklas Kronwall. He's one of my favorite players over the years. It's mainly because of his huge open ice hits in the playoffs. The Avalanche feared that guy when they played him, or not the Avalanche, excuse me, the teams like in the East and teams that when they were still in the West fear Detroit. I was thinking about the old Detroit teams, excuse me on that one, but a lot of teams fear Niklas Kronwall. I guarantee you that. He's put some guys on their back in his day. If you want to see a great top 10 hits, go to YouTube, write down top 10 Niklas Kronwall hits. You will be amazed. This guy hits like a tank for 194 pounds. And for him, I had written down, is a veteran who is feared for his big open ice hits, and despite not being a very big D-man by D-man standards, he intimidates opponents and opens up ice for his team. while helping shut down other teams when they try to attack up the middle of the ice. He's an all-around good defensively sound defenseman with good skating and great offensive ability when he's thriving. When he's on his game, he is good. I don't want to say great offensive ability, but he has good offensive ability, and when Kronwall steps it up, he steps it up. For a guy who's 38 years old, he's had some pretty decent games, and on a crappy team in Detroit, by defenseman standards, he had good numbers for sure. He had 8 power play points. He had 27 points in only 79 games played for a 38-year-old defenseman who's considered a third-pairing defenseman on most teams. Those are pretty good numbers. Anyways, guys, those are a few D-men I think Montreal could pick up. Let me know if you disagree or you agree in the comments. Feel free to like, and please hit that subscribe button. I'm 1 subscriber away from 100, so will you be my 100th subscriber? That would be great if you would. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to comment. Please hit the subscribe button. Ring the bell for my upcoming reviews and recaps and prospect talk and trade talk. There's plenty more to come. Scotty2Hockey, a.k.a. The Average Hockey Fan, over and out.